But overall, a lot of gravel. They already told us about this, but I just didn't know about it. I didn't expect it because also in The Hague, where I live, there's not a lot of gravel. But yeah, here in the Netherlands, in this part, there's actually a lot of gravel and it was really beautiful. So Flatlands 300, it's officially not a race, but of course we knew that, yeah, we want to get a proper time in. At the end, I think we arrived at around 9:30. Definitely not a great time, but more about that later. So the first 100 kilometers were actually quite nice, quite easy. As I said before, the weather was actually quite in our favor. It was really enjoyable, especially doing it with someone else. I think I first wanted to sign up even on my own, but I think doing it with someone else, the other person, or actually both push each other. So I think that's definitely a recommendation. If you want to join something like this, go get someone else, or maybe even when you're at the event, try to find someone who has the same pace, because doing it together is just much easier. Sometimes I would push Lars and sometimes he would push me, especially towards the end. I think if Lars was not there, I would have gone much slower, or even at some point I was even thinking of not continuing this whole thing. And that's the mental part, because physically a lot of times it's fine, but after 140 kilometers it got very mental. You start getting these thoughts like, why am I participating in these kind of things? So here we are in Roermond, going through Roermond, and it was actually quite nice to also yeah, go through these nature areas, but also through some of these city centers. And then with the level of experience also, I cycled 200 kilometers before, but it was more like on normal roads. So I think a 300 kilometer normal road bike event will be fine. But on gravel, some of the parts and paths we cycled through, you could really maximum do 15 kilometers an hour. It was really tough. Finally, one of the things that also kept me going is the fact that I went with Lars. He was pushing me, I was pushing him at times, and I think doing it together really helps. But I also know that I don't give up very easily. Although I had one time really that I thought, okay, maybe I need to stop and just, this is the end for me. But I think even if I had to go slowly and, it would take me more hours than it was needed,